Okay, continuing our work on function algebra. We're going to mix it up a little bit here, do some addition, some division, and some composition. So this time we're given a function f, which is just defined to be a set of ordered pairs, and g, which is also a set of ordered pairs. And we're asked to construct f plus g of x, f over g of x, and f divided by g of x. These first two are actually pretty short because this just means f of x plus g of x. And whenever we construct the sum of two functions, they need to have the same input. So if we take a look at our list of inputs, they only share the inputs of -1 and 0 and looks like 2. So there's only going to be 3 ordered pairs. So what we're going to do for the f plus g of x, we're just going to call that f plus g. And we're going to start with the first common ordered pair they have, which is -1, and we are going to add the outputs. And then the next common ordered pair they have is 0, and then we're going to add the output from f to the output from g. And then our final common ordered pair is x equals 2, and we're going to add the output of 6 to the output of -1. And then just simplifying, our ordered pairs become -1, 4, 0, 5, 2, 5. Okay, similarly for f divided by g, so f divided by g, we would keep the ordered pair they have in common. So I'm going to just go ahead and copy down our 3 x coordinates that they share in common. And then we are going to divide the function values. So the function values, we've got them up here pretty much. We're doing the f value divided by the g value. So 3 divided by 1 is 3. And then, oops, up here, if we do 5 divided by 0 in this one, that's going to be undefined. So that one kind of drops out. And then we do 6 divided by -1, which is -6. So f divided by g only has 2 ordered pairs, -1, 3, and 2, -6. Okay, the last one is f composed with g of x. So f composed with g means f of g of x. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through all the possible input values on the g of x and see what we get. So I'm going to start with an ordered pair of, let's try -1 on g. So I'm starting with -1 on g. I'm getting an output of 1. Then I'm going over to f, and I'm seeing if I find that as an input of 1, which I do, and then my answer is 4. Now we're going to move on to 0. So 0 on g as an input gives an output of 0. Then I go over to f, I find an input of 0, and I write down my output, which is 5. Moving on to 2. So input of 2 on g, output of -1, go over and find -1 as an input, and my output is 3. And then my final one, -1, so input of -1 gives an output of 2, go find an input of 2, and that is an output of 6. So again, we're just thinking of a function composition kind of as being 2 function machines put together. So g was my inside or my first function, f was my second. So just running through it again, when I put -1 into the g function, I got 1 out. And then when I put 1 into the f function, I got 4 out. And we just did that for each of the inputs of g. So that's it for the numeric function algebra, and in the next video we will do graphical function algebra.